Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of One Take. Today, we're taking a look at the Worcester finally. This is one of the better Tier 10 light cruisers, in my opinion. The ship is amazing. The DPM is awesome, and it's really quite versatile in its ability to farm battleships out, deal with enemy cruisers, and of course, well, radar off destroyers and kill them very, very efficiently. The AA is alright. It used to be amazing with defensive fire up. It's not bad still. 6.9 kilometers of range is pretty decent. It's of course not going to change things. If a carrier wants you dead, you're probably going to go down. But here we're taking a look at the new map as well. I've had a few games on this map already, and they've all really not gone very well. So I hope this one is going to change that a little bit. Notice I'm going to go to this big giant island here to start off with. And hope, we're going to hope to have a good game from here. Honestly, I think these middle islands would be really cool for some light cruiser action, but for now we're going to go with this. The carrier is coming to this side, but that's really not too big a deal for us. Double Montana, Schlieffen, Yamato. So some scary battleships, depending on where they're playing and how aggressive they get. I think with us being here, we should be able to help deal with these planes. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get really close and hug this island. This is something you can do in a lot of light cruisers, and just wait until we know more. This is a great spot to be in since, well, we know they're not going to be able to lob a bunch of shells over at us. We can reasonably relax here, I think. Looks like he wants to throw a lot of his planes away here. Most of the planes we're shooting down, of course, are the fighters. But we're just chilling here, just waiting. Patience is really the key when it comes to light cruiser play. I think that's got to be the hardest part of playing this game with a lightly armored ship, especially one with a citadel. At least with a destroyer, right? We don't have a citadel to worry about. But here, light cruisers become more dangerous the later into the game we get. So we want to survive these earlier parts of the game without taking too much damage. Now it seems like... Okay, we got ourselves a Ragnar here. Now we don't have to worry about torps with him, which is nice. We're going to use this daring smoke to our best ability. We're going to try and take out this Nevsky. Unfortunately, he's not spotted. That'd be really nice if he was, but I'm going to continue to blind fire, right? And we got a few hits in because of that. I really need to help this Yami with these planes. If we lose him, that's going to make this flank very difficult. But look at the damage output, right? The DPM is nasty on the Worcester. There we go. That's our first kill. And then we can move ourselves over to dealing with this Ragnar, hopefully. I'm also going to turn away right away. You notice where the Montana is on the minimap. This is something you really, really need to be well aware of, is where enemy battleships are and where you could be taking some big damage salvos from. He is not really looking at us, so we're okay for now. But a really good start. Really, really, really good start. There's a Bilal here as well. Interesting. Okay, we do have decent ASW. Like, not the best, but it is decent. But you notice I'm constantly trying to make sure I'm angled to these guys. And it looks like we whiffed on the sub. That's fine. Not a big deal. Our daring has quite a bit of HP, and the Ragnar is forced away. So playing aggressive, playing close to islands, and especially playing close to caps is really, really crucial for early game Worcester gameplay. I think that this ship is awesome. And playing in positions like this, man, it's so hard to deal with a Worcester like this. This Ragnar is going to want to farm our battleship, and that's fine. I'll try and just annoy him, basically. Seems like he's stopping. Sometimes he'll accelerate, sometimes he'll go forward again. Looks like he's going to accelerate just a little bit. Our Yamato is playing very close to me, so that's good, right? It's keeping him alive. This is something I want to be aware of as well, right? I'm helping to keep both my Daring and my Yamato alive right now. I'm not using defensive fire because I really do think I need to save that for myself. We're not quite around this island yet, so I want to use these. Now that we get around the island, hopefully we can deal with this submarine. A few full pens. Let's see if we get some depth charges too. A little better aim on those. But of course, Worcester has a massive advantage by having these depth charges. It is hugely different. Being able to have these depth charges over something like the ones that are dropped off the back of your ship, it's a night and day difference. The flexibility that you gain with these is unbelievable. We see the Montana just got lit up. Possibly he's shooting at us. So, you know, I'm trying to turn into those salvos. And yeah, there they are. I'm always keeping an eye out for the enemy battleship salvos like this. And I'm okay with being bow into battleships as long as I have a safe island kind of checkpoint to get to. Right here I'm okay. But if we're pushing into open water, it becomes a little scary. He's probably just hard going after our Yamato, so I'm going to wait until his planes cross my path, get over to the right side, and then we're just going to not pop defensive fire yet, but we're going to do just a good old sectoring. Trying to angle in and dodge these. Worcester is reasonably maneuverable. And now with this Yamato in the middle, we can start farming him out. So a play you can make with the Worcester is you can run IFHE. I'm currently not. We'll go over my build after this game, but I'm not running IFHE, and that's because the fire chance is pretty nice already, and we don't want to ruin that. But at the same time, we already penned 30 millimeters of armor, so I'm not too concerned over a little more full pen damage on battleships, especially when, for the most part, we're penning all cruisers anyway. Slow down and turn out, using islands to our advantage. Good fire. He's going to go dark, but that's okay. This map is going to be great for light cruisers. I think so. I've been playing battleships on this map a ton, and it's very challenging to push in without just getting killed. What I'm going to do is, if he comes for us, which it looks like he is, I'm going to pop my defensive fire. And we're going to do that because I don't really want to leave this spot. Yeah, so he's going to get a drop off on our Yami. And defensive fire cleans that up. Monty's shooting at us. We're pretty well angled. He can overmatch our stern, but we have a 30 millimeter deck, so yeah, that's not going to do too much to us. And we're just waiting here. This is a great spot to hold in, right? We have our teammates holding here. We're creating a crossfire, especially with our Yami. Our Yami is creating a massive crossfire, right? And we're able to farm this Yamato as he pushes in. This is all great stuff. We're being patient. We're not over-rushing. We're not pushing into the enemy spawn, trying to kill the enemy carrier or anything like that. We're just hanging out. Notice I've also zoomed out a tick or two, right? Like, this is full zoom in. It's way easier to aim at longer ranges like this when you just zoom out one tick. This is something you do in destroyers a lot, or I do in destroyers a lot. But honestly, with light cruisers, it can be done as well. So here comes the CV again. I don't have my defense fire up this time. But it looks like, yeah, you can see the pretty big difference as soon as we don't have defensive fire, right? We don't just instantly nuke them all. Also notice that this time I'm also trying to angle to the Yami. I started moving right away. This is something that we want to do in a Worcester as soon as we're getting spotted consistently behind an island. It's lovely to have an island camp and, you know, not have to move at all. But Worcester is very hard to hit in a lot of these positions. In 15-kilometer range, this is a pretty small ship, and it's very, very agile. And oh, he did get one salvo off yet. But I don't think he led quite enough. Oh, we're good. Maybe a little lucky there at the end, I'll admit it. But playing smart, not trying to over engage and lose a bunch of HP. And now we have so much HP at the end. This is just cleanup work here, but Worcester really is an excellent tier 10, man. I think this and Des Moines are excellent tier 10 cruisers. Light, heavy. I think there's not a lot of cruisers that can beat these two, honestly. The Des Moines is a little more interesting because you can have some AP games, right? But as far as pure DPM goes, the Worcester's insane. You get almost the DPM of ships like Smolensk, Colbert, that kind of thing. Similar fire chance levels, except you also have the ability to pen 30 millimeters, right? Like, it's an awesome ship. It's just at closer ranges, you're going to lose AP fights to things like Des Moines, right? But it's awesome. I really, really do love the Worcester. If you're thinking of grinding a light cruiser line, it's a bit rough. The tier 9 Seattle has atrocious turret angles, and it makes it very difficult to use. It doesn't really feel like too much of an upgrade over the Cleveland. It's basically a Cleveland with the 6th upgrade slot, right, that you can get reload or range on, and a heal. It's not much of an upgrade, but this ship is very much worth going for. It's so much fun. We're going to be hitting the island there. I also don't want to shoot as much right now because the Goliath will be spotting me. Something interesting to note, though, too, is our range is 16.7. This is with a reload mod, not range mod. So we have more base range than a Des Moines does, which is kind of funny in itself. Look at that, and our fire's going to pick that one up. Already on 3 kills. Not a huge damage game, but I mean, this one was pretty quick. Our team was much, much, much better than the enemy team, so we're not going to farm out tons of damage. Those high damage number games, they have to come when the enemy team is just a little better than yours. And that really wasn't the case here. But I think the team play, cat play aspect was really interesting on this one, and I don't know. I think the light cruiser gameplay is going to be a lot of fun on this map. Battleships are tough so far. I've played 4 or 5. But not 5, probably 4 games on this map prior to this one, and they've all been in battleships, and I've tried pushing in through some of these islands here, tried to play around sea, and I've just been getting, I've been getting burnt down quick. I have had very little battle impact in my battleships on this map, so I don't know. We'll see what destroyers are like once I finally get to play a DD on this flat map, but I've so far enjoyed this this match in the Worcester so far. And maybe we'll even do a little bit of open water. I'm really quite confident in this ship, honestly. It's a lot of fun to play because it can just serve in so many different roles. I think it's just a really good all-rounder if you're looking for a decent random ship. If you pair it in a division, let's say you div with a gearing, for example, wow. The potential for carrying games, getting massive damage, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. That doesn't look like he led enough, right? Yeah, he just straight up didn't lead enough. Now I need to be aiming a little higher. As we can see, the aiming system is there. Now he led enough, so now we'll just slow down and turn in. Not a big deal. Dodge those. There we go. Not a huge damage game, but man, Worcester is just a ton of fun to play. 94k, that's much lower than my average in this thing, which is probably 120, 130 if I had to guess. I'm not exactly sure, but I love this ship. This is one of my favorite tier 10 cruisers to play. I always enjoy my time with it. And a pretty solid result. I think the base XP shows it a little bit more than the actual damage itself. But let's talk about the build before we get into the second game. It's a reasonably standard, I would say, cruiser captain. I think running in superintendent, concealment, survivability expert are all very strong picks. Adrenaline rush as well for most cruisers. This is pretty standard stuff. I've also spec'd demo and some AA here. This is giving us a little bit better job against the carriers, as well as this airstrike armament reload time, because the ASW is pretty decent. It's much, much better than a lot of the other cruisers that only have the depth charges that dump off the back of the ship. This is way better. So if you're looking to deal with basically any ship from any class, Worcester can kind of do it. I'm running incoming fire alert. This is kind of the, I don't know, easy way to play open water, right? If you're not really good at paying attention to who's shooting, just slot this and it's going to give you an alert anytime somebody shoots at you from a pretty decent distance away. As for the equipment, it's pretty standard as well. Propulsion mod is very, very, very useful for ships that want to be playing around islands, right? So poking our nose out, reversing back, maneuvering at lower speed like that, it's way more useful than something like rudder. And the rudder is still already pretty good. Double concealment, 9.8 kilometer conceal. The radar is 9 kilometers, but 40-second duration. Yeah, if something's caught for the full duration in that range, it's going to die. It's a really, 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 really good radar. So let's jump into the next one, shall we? All right, second game, and here we are on hotspot, and we're spawning on the D flank. This is, honestly, you can't ask for much better better maps than the D flank on hotspot. There's so many islands here, and they're low enough to block vision, but low enough that we can just spam over them. So I'm going to take maybe a bit of an aggressive island to start with. I'm actually going to go to this island here and try and play off of that. The worry potentially is somebody pushing up the 9-10 lines. If somebody pushes out here, they get pretty good crossfires in us, but I think it's a risk I'm willing to take. I can also get away from this island reasonably well, and I can radar the cap then from it. If there was a carrier, for example, I wouldn't play this aggressive because you're liable to be spotted on your way in here. So then I'd maybe try and play this island or play a little farther back. These islands can kind of overlap, and you can play open water back here while still preventing a lot of detection from firing your guns. It's a fun cap, but it can be a little bit dangerous. Notice our Z52 is going very aggressive, so I also want to be supporting that. If he runs into a Sherman, for example, he's going to need some help, and we should be able to help even up that fight. But Sherman's sap is enough that he might kill him anyway, even with a Worcester backing up a Z52. That's just how insane that ship is. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go bow in here and then reverse out. For whatever reason, I'll show you in port after this game, the Citadel doesn't really extend to these back turrets. It's mainly in the front, so we can kind of reverse out and get some cheeky salvos out and get spotted and get shot at in our stern, and there's not too much risk of taking some massive Citadel damage. So keep an eye on the decap ticking here, right? We notice that we're obviously capping it, but if we start not capping it, then we know that we can radar, for example, and catch someone. But this is an excellent, excellent, excellent island here if you can manage to get to it. Farming out the 1-2 lines is hilarious. And it is the Sherman here, so pretty spooky stuff. Alsace coming. We'll start with farming him. And for the most part, I want to back out here just a little bit. And all right, we're going to stop shooting now so that we don't get spotted by this Alsace. We got ourselves a fire. We're feeling good. If this Sherman decides to get aggressive, well... Also, this is Smolensk torps, so those aren't going to reach us. Let's see. Is he going to get aggressive? I could shoot at him, but the Alsace is going to spot me. And I really don't feel like getting spotted right now. These should run out, right? These should run out, right? Okay. They do. So I'm not radaring because I know I can't... oh, that's a 6 smoke. I know I can't hit him, so there's really not much point in radaring. Our Benham is stalling out the cap anyway. Since I'm reversing here, I'm going to pop a Hydro. That Alsace is going to die quick. I mean, that's a Schlieffen. And an incomparable. So, overmatch plus some pretty nuts secondaries. So that's going to be pretty quick, I would have to say. And now we're just waiting. We're waiting for this Sherman to make a mistake, essentially. You can see our smoke fire here. We probably get lit if the Sherman goes aggressive, but it's really not too big a deal right now. It's just the Lion that's not spotted as a battleship, so that's pretty easy over here. Sherman's there. We could be shooting at these, some of them. Do I want to take a radar? He's using his smoke already. It's tough. It's really tough to say if I want to take a radar or not, but it looks like he's coming back this way. All right, get a few salvos in, push him back so my teammates can hit him. Some pretty big damage into him already. Right, my teammates are going to be able to hit him. This is a long duration radar. 9 kilometers isn't the most range, but yeah, duration is pretty nuts. And he's pushing forward because he's getting hit by my teammates. There we go. Pretty successful radar, I would say. Obviously, we can't play this aggressive if the enemy team has people. If the enemy team has people down here, we can't play this aggressive. But they didn't, so we can back in like that. I also made use of the Z52 smoke as a nice opportunity. Is there a DD out here? What the heck? Who would that be? Yamagiri? Okay, I actually have to go kill Yamagiri. It's unfortunate, but Yamagiris are dangerous, dangerous. So I do have to deal with that. Our radar will be up in 120 or so. Something like that. Spooky, man. Spooky stuff that, you know, if that Alsace had more support there, you know, we couldn't have played as deep, right? There's a bunch of crossfires that are a problem there, but I think that worked out quite well. We're not going to farm a lot of damage, but they probably win this flank over here, right? We want to be considerate of how the game is going. So, yeah, they're going to win this flank. We're going to need to clear out this flank. We've done a good job of it so far, but it's that Yamagiri we need to kill. Otherwise, I mean, it's very easy for them to just deal with our team. That's Smolensk Torps, I believe. So Iowa thinks he's gone north, which our detection now reaches the border, so we don't really have to worry about that. Maybe he's escaped south, but okay. He's running north, so what we're going to do is we're going to run straight north, okay? So what this is going to do is our detection's here. He can't get past us on the 10 line, so now he has to try and run this way. So we're going to try and cut him off. See, we're spotted. We're not going to radar, though, right away. He's probably going to be running away from us. We're reasonably quick. Probably not quick enough to quite catch him, but I'm going to wait until I'm around this island, because I want to be able to swing out and get all my guns on target. And we did just see his torps, so I'm not going to pop my hydro just yet. We're going to wait. This is a good example of how to deal with a DD that, I mean, it's kind of your role as a light cruiser. It's not really fair because Worcester is so good at this, but let's pop our hydro now. You know, a little earlier than I probably needed to, but it's certainly going to help us in the future for his next salvo of torps. Okay, so maybe it wasn't. Maybe I don't have any idea what Yamakiri torp reload is. It's a little better than I might have thought. Okay, let's see what he got. Yep. All right. And my aim sucks. Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't played with this ship for a bit, so there we go. A few more hits on target. We need to kill his engine again if we can, because he just damage gone. Okay, that might be it, or it's his rudder. So depending on how greedy he is, he might be dead in the water kind of thing. If he doesn't have last stand and we got his rudder or his engine, we should be able to catch up to him now. Something's in B. That's probably the submarine. My goodness, what a weird match. But you have to deal with these, you know, stealthy boats, right? You can't just let them roam free. Our team is dealing with the capital ships, though, to be fair. So this is our... this is what we got to do. Oh, I guess, like the Yoshi says in chat, it could be the gearing, I suppose. Unlikely, though, honestly. Unlikely. So it seems like the Amagiri made it out. I don't know. I wish I would have aimed better. That's what I wish. I wish I would have aimed better. That's about it. That's my regret here. Okay, so there's his torps. We do need to make sure we dodge appropriately. Right, that's the problem with Japanese torpedoes in this game. Their concealment is poor. So we then... actually, where do we think he is? I think he's there. We can dodge him pretty easily in a cruiser, especially if we know kind of what direction he's coming from. But for battleships, it's pretty hard to deal with. We also have to consider the Yami is poking out here, so he might be shooting at us. That's where that incoming fire alert can be pretty helpful for us. What a weird game. I've never had to do this before, I don't think. I don't think I've ever had to chase a DD like this, ever. I've usually probably just ignored it, but my team is winning reasonably well. Oh, that's not what you want to do, my man. Yeah, all right. He's trying to get around the island, right? So we can catch him trying to get around the island and cutting the angle because he's trying to, you know, break contact. But we can see him, and we can get really good hits into his broadside. And hopefully now we should be able to have our Yoshino finish him. Maybe? We did some pretty good damage there. I'm also going to pop Hydro right away just in case he managed to get some torps off. And he did. Okay. Yeah, so like this ship is nuts at dealing with enemy destroyers. It's just, if there's no battleships to shoot at this thing or heavier cruisers, I mean, yeah, we just walk at them. And that's why it's really important, I think, to play around a lot of islands. So that if there are battleships, you can use the islands to mitigate a lot of the battleships shooting at you. And it worked pretty well in the first game. Can we get over that? Yeah, we can. Yeah, 34k. I promise this is a good damage dealer, all right? I'm sure I have videos on this channel of me doing insane damage with it, but we're going to yoink that? Oh my goodness. Disgusting. Disgusting kill stealer. Yikes. Especially after our incomparable gets 5. Damn. Good job to that guy. Weird game for me, though. I have not had a game like this. So I hope you enjoyed kind of a look at dealing with an enemy DD. It's not the typical big damage game, but I thought it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a puzzle to try and figure out, right? Just a bit of a puzzle. And now I would assume they're just running this way. I did get spotted briefly, so I'm not really sure what that means. Yeah, the gearing is probably there somewhere. Okay, there's the last set from the Yamagiri. Yeah, that's going to hurt that Yoshi. Yeah, you can see how important it is to not let those things hit you. Okay, we just got lit, so he's probably over here. See, and that's the problem with using radar as soon as you get spotted. And that's why it's, I think, required to have a radar cruiser have a bit of a buffer zone. Because it gives the DD a chance to angle away, like this gearing now is. It gives them a chance to get away. It also gives them a chance to spot without risk of being radared. And that's why I think Petro could use a bit of a concealment nerf as well. I mean, before, Petro had like a 0.1, 0.2 kilometer difference between its radar and its concealment, which is just insane. You can see how powerful it is with a 1 kilometer difference or thereabouts on a ship with, 10-kilometer detect, 9-kilometer 9-kilometer radar. And there we go. Like, we're decent. Like, we're third on XP, barely. But that's because we're just dealing with these DDs, And that's a great way to win games. It's not great for damage. It's not really great for average damage at all. But it's a good way to win games. And like I mentioned, the armor layout, just so we all know where the Citadel lies with this ship. Yeah. It's a weird one. You see that? You see that? So you can actually poke the stern of your ship out, and you're not going to really take Citadels unless they can hit this turret underneath it. So kind of an odd thing there. It also makes it kind of a decent kiting ship because, yeah, the rear of the Citadel is not exactly where people would expect it to be. So it's an odd one. The armor overall, though, I mean, you're getting overmatched basically everywhere. 30mm deck is nice against ships like Montana or lower tier battleships where if you're at long range, they're going to bounce off of that. So a little bit of armor, a little bit of bouncing, but overall, you're trying not to get hit. You're really trying to dodge using your really good maneuverability, trying to stay in concealment, using smokes, using islands, that kind of thing. Worcester's awesome. Real quick, let's just double check what the average damage is, just so we can say that this ship can, in fact, deal damage. And it's not just a DD Hunter that does very low damage. There we go. I found it. And yeah, 148. Okay, so higher yet than I actually thought it was. The damage output's nuts with this thing. It's absolutely absurd. I just didn't happen to get games that showed that, but maybe that's a good thing. The damage is very good, obviously, but knowing that it's a very good game-winning ship, a carry ship that can deal with basically any class, that's pretty valuable to know as well. Overall, though, probably should get the Des Moines first. It's a little easier grind. The Buffalo's a little bit of an awkward one, too, but it's definitely an easier grind than the Seattle. And the AP is a lot of fun to use on Des Moines. But if you're looking for the light cruiser line to go down, yeah, this is it. I think this is the best light cruiser tier 10. It is so fun, and it's incredibly strong. So let me know what you think of the Worcester in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this one take, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.